All right, yeah, I came from Bakersfield, California. I got into music when I was 10 years old. All I wanted to do was be a rock star. And about 10 years later, a little over 10 years later, I was in Hollywood forming a band called Korn with my friends, and we totally started making it in Hollywood. As far as filling up clubs, everybody wanted to book us in Orange County, and then a record company started coming, and they started offering us deals, so we took a deal with Epic Records and went touring right away and found success on the first album, touring with Ozzy, went gold. Second record came out, went gold, and third record came out, just MTV got a hold of it, record companies pushed it, and it just went to the top of the game, the top Billboard, top MTV music charts, and then that's when we hit the top, it was all oh my gosh, everyone's good, we got money and everything. And then all of a sudden it started going downhill. What goes up must come down. And then 5 divorces, 5 broken homes. And I turned into, inside of my soul, inside of myself that no one saw, I was the biggest loser in the gutter. I mean, I was rich on the outside, but inside I was like a homeless person, just lost.
Okay, now, you say that, you're like a homeless person, and, of course, we're raising money for rescue missions all around the nation that are dealing with people that walk in on a regular basis, and, they're on meth, they're on, whatever they can get their hands on, alcoholics, many of them. What would you, being at that state, like you just said, what would you say to a person that they might not have, like you said, all the richness, but inside they're the same, right? They were the same as you. What would you communicate to somebody like that?
Yeah, and I've said that many times. I've used it to describe where I was, because, people on the streets, they're lost and they're gone. They have no hope, and they're just barely breathing, just to live. And that's how I was. No matter if I had a $500,000 tour bus, and and I had a fat house and cars and everything, but I was totally lost. I was in my own gutter. And because no one knew that I was on the drugs so much, I was like Mr. Master, manipulator. I hid everything. And so I was just carrying this thing for 2 years, just doing lines when I wake up, and I was defeated, man, totally.
So that's not how you live now. Talk to me about your, on your journey with the Lord, and what's one of your the verses that just really stood out to you and was a profound moment in your life when you just read Scripture and you're like, man, that verse just leveled you, just took a hold of you. What are maybe if you have one off the top of your head, what would that be? Share that.
I have some off the top of my skin because I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget. No. The first one, Matthew 11:28, come to me. I was at home, and I was just thumbing through the Bible. I was on crystal meth, and I was still reading the Bible going, man, is this real? Is this real? And these guys were reaching out to me, and they're I got a scripture sent to me from somebody. He said, Brian, I've never done this before. I've been doing devotionals for the first time, and I felt like this scripture would mean something to you. I felt like the Lord wanted me to give it to you. It's Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And it just felt, I was so dry and spun out on drugs. I just felt like it was supernatural, like Gatorade coming into me, that scripture. So that scripture, when I had 8 balls of crystal meth in my closet, I quit, for a few days, and I was really believing God was real. And then I found an 8-ball in my closet, and I was so fast, broke it open and started snorting it. And then, so I fell that time. And then the next time after I had that love encounter, I found another 8-ball. That's how much I had in my house. But at that time I was home alone, and I just remember Philippians 4:13. I got it right here. And it's, I just was I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things through Christ. I started pacing around the house. Then I was like, you know what? This drug has been beating me so long. I felt like I was in a fight and it was winning. So I was like, I could win the fight right now. So I could just take that 8-ball and throw it away and take pictures of myself throwing it away in the toilet. And that's what I did. So I felt like I won the fight right there.
That's amazing. I know that you you had a New York Times bestseller book that you wrote about your life, Save Me From Myself, right? And you also have a book coming out November 30th, right? Do you have a new book coming out? Talk to us a little bit about what that is.
Stronger. It's like a 40-day devotional, but it's like unlike any other. It's a lot about. I've been through a lot of struggles. You know, on the outside, I was rich before. On the inside, I was a miserable mess, like in the gutter. Right now, on the inside, I'm extremely rich. I have Christ living in me. The glory in heaven like lives inside of me. But on the outside, it's not rich anymore. And I got struggles, and I got a lot of mistakes, and just all this stuff going on. So, but I talk about that in the book. A lot of going through struggles and getting through it, and seeing God inside them, and showing through Scripture that it's meant to be, so we shouldn't freak out.
That's great, and that's coming out November 30th.
Yeah, and it's called Stronger, 40 Days of Metal and Spirituality.
You know, as we just get done here, with just thanks for your time again, and really appreciate it. What would you say, man, when you're thinking about hope, you know, and you have people are going to be watching, they're watching right now. What would you say to people that are working with people that need hope, you know? And what would you say to the hopeless? What would you, as Brian Head Welch, who had it all, but didn't have Jesus, and now you have Jesus, you know, and inside you're full of glory, like you said, what would you communicate to hopeless people? What would you say?
If anybody listening or watching this is hopeless, I would just say that there's like a switch inside of us that it's a deciding thing, and it's a one-click thing. And what I did was I decided to just click that switch and say, I'm going to believe in God. I'm going to go after Him with everything I have, and I'm going to lay my old life down. And once I made that choice, I went after it. And yes, I did fall a couple times. After I made the choice, I found drugs and I snorted more meth, but I wasn't getting high the same way because I already clicked that switch. So it was like, all right, you know, you fall, but you get back up. But I found out there's so much beauty in like inside yourself when you die to yourself, when you die to the old you, and just lay it down, just make that decision. And if you pray for God's help, just to turn that switch on, to make that decision, to lay your old life down and to live a life of giving and love, basically in a love relationship with God, that empowers you to want to give to others and change your life. And man, if anybody watching that's totally hopeless, I was hopeless in my rich lifestyle and my fame and everything. I was totally hopeless. And, you know, I had everything to help me, but none of the stuff could help me. My money, the doctors, nothing could help me. So that's like, I felt like I was more hopeless than anybody because I had all the things that were supposed to help you. And none of them helped me until I just called out to God. And I decided, when they told me that Christ is real and that all those, you know, the people that were telling me about Him weren't crazy, they weren't after my money and all that stuff. Like, once I just really thought it was real, I was like, man, I'm going to go after this with everything. And so that's what did it. And so lay down your old life right now, go after God, and He'll do miracles in your life, and He'll heal all your pains and take you to places you never dreamed of.